What is going on, everybody, and welcome on back to Call of the Wild, where today I want to talk about what I think is going to be coming out in 2022. Now, let me first start off by saying a massive Happy New Year to you all, and let's jump into this. So this year, I think potentially we could find ourselves having two brand new reserves introduced to Call of the Wild. And I think the first one would be an Australia map. It's something that I've heard a lot of people in the community talking about for a while. And I think that EW know this. And that is why I'm putting that down as my favorite to be the first reserve introduced. And I would expect that to be around about June time this year. I think that is when we are going to see Australia finally introduced to Call of the Wild. And then my second option would have to be Africa 2.0. A good friend of mine, Mr. Gruntley, has done a video on a concept for Africa, and I think that he's got it pretty bang on. I would love to see new species being introduced, and of course, because it is a game, even some of the more endangered species could be introduced to give us as players an opportunity to go out there and start hunting them. I would love to see things like hippos or giraffes introduced to the game, something that we haven't really seen before. Now that we have the alligators, they have the aquatic physics, they could go with hippos, and then of course seeing a giraffe would be absolutely incredible. Then beautiful tall necks going high above the trees. I think it'd be really cool. Now, the current Africa Savannah map is based in South Africa, so I think that if they were going to do it, it would be a different area of Africa. So I'm talking maybe Kenya, maybe Uganda, something like that. And I really do think that Africa 2.0 could be on the cards towards the end of 2022. Now, this is also backed up by the knowledge that Ultimate Hunting is going to be released later in this year, and we already know that Ultimate Hunting is going to be dropped with an Africa map as well as a California map. So I think that if EW want to keep on track with their maps, they are going to have to go with an Africa 2.0 to make sure that the players are gripped and ready to go. The next thing that I feel we could see being introduced to Call of the Wild this year could be some brand new guns. Now, the first thing is Zaggy has done a video where he shows off some clues about a classics pack coming to the game, and I think that there could be some truth to that. We have the high-tech hunting pack already, and I think that a classics pack would really balance it out and would give players a little bit more of a bare bones approach to hunting, which I think a lot of people would find cool, especially those that have played the game for a while, that have used all the guns that are currently in the game. This would be a different approach to hunting, similar to bow hunting almost, where you have to go a lot more slow paced, you have to make sure you be more accurate, and you get that reward when you finally take on that shot because you've put in the work beforehand. And then the next gun that I think could be introduced, I don't know what it would be, but if they are coming out with an Africa 2.0, I think that that reserve would get dropped with a gun that is suitable for animal classes 5 to 9. Now, the reason for this is currently on Africa, there is a lot of species that are class 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and I think that a class 5 to 9 animal suits the demographic of animals that can be found within Africa. So I think that if Africa does get released towards the end of the year, like I think it will, that we are going to see it being released with a 5 to 9 class gun. Now then, we know that the Bloodhounds were introduced last year as part of their brand new feature to have accompaniment while you are roaming on around. The Bloodhounds obviously helping out with the tracking of animals, and I think to expand on that, this year what we are going to see is we could potentially find two types of dogs being introduced. The first one would be a flushing dog. Now, we've seen the flush feature introduced for the animals like the quail and the pheasants, and I think that a perfect way to have the dog do that would be to have something that can go in to the brush and flush out those animals for you so that you can focus on doing the shooting. The next option would be something like a retriever, something that once them animals are down, it will go and it will bring it to you, meaning that it sort of does a similar thing of the Bloodhound where it will find the animal, but it actually brings it back to you as well. I think that could be a really cool thing for them to introduce this year, and I absolutely hope that they do. And then the final thing that I think we could be seeing coming to Call of the Wild would be brand new equipment or brand new accessories for you while you are hunting. So I'm talking things like potentially trail cams could be seen in the game depending on how difficult the brand new reserves are to hunt on. I think that a trail cam could be a really awesome thing for them to add, as well as potentially more options for customization for your guns out there. We know that players love to have their own custom touch when they are hunting out there, so I think that seeing more options for customizability for our guns could be on the cards, and that would be really awesome, and I know it would make a lot of people really happy. And then finally, I don't think this is necessarily something which we can expect to be coming this year, but more something that I think would be really cool if they did add this year, would be some form of seasonal addition to the game. So for example, we know that on Classic we get werewolves around Halloween? Well, we know that they have on Mexico the story of the Chupacabra, and I think that that would be a really awesome Halloween event, hunting the Chupacabra out on Rancho del Arroyo. I think that could be really cool and something that I think a lot of players would absolutely get hyped for, to see finally some form of Halloween event in Call of the Wild. And then the other thing would be, maybe next year, around Christmas time, we could finally see a beautiful caribou with that bright red nose out there. That would definitely be something that a lot of players would find, yes, okay, it takes away from the realistic aspect of hunting, but I do think that players can appreciate these sort of special events that this game has potential for. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the things that I think we could be seeing in Call of the Wild in 2022. Now, one thing that I will ask you guys is, if you think that I've missed anything out potentially for this year, please do go ahead and leave it down in the comments. I want to know what you guys would absolutely love to see added to Call of the Wild this year, so please do let me know in them comment sections, and I will respond to as many of them as I can. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the hunting out there. Let's see what we get this year. Peace.